Welcome, Blocksquare, and everyone else in the world. Yeah, had few weeks of holidays, fun times for me. Unfortunately, that wasn't the same for Dennis, but hard luck for Dennis. So today we have a great block chat. The block chat today will talk about a project that we talked about before briefly. Now we will deep dive in it alongside Daniel, who's with me today, our head of risk.
Hi,
Not
everybody.
only will we talk about Tokalytics, that's the name of the project that we talked about before, but also we'll deep dive into why Tokalytics, what is it expected to add to our ecosystem, to the world of tokenized real estate, to everyone's life of yours, because this is a project for the world. It's not a project that is only meant to service our properties and our tokenized properties. Not really. We wanted to do a project that services the industry. I'll not talk more. Daniel will tell us everything about it. And we definitely deep dive into it. And hopefully you'll see something you'll like. Daniel, how are you?
Very good, thank you, Makram. How are you?
Amazing. Daniel,
Brilliant. Yeah.
Tokalytics. Why,
Tokenized.
what, and how? And then let's deep dive into it.
Yeah, look, thanks for having me. Exciting to be here and to talk to you about Tokenized. So look, it really all started about 3 years ago. I'm introduced to Blocksquare and encapsulated by the technology that they're building and the ability for the barriers to real estate as an investment class to just be brought down and accessibility to be given to everybody. And what really struck me at that time, due to my personal interests, my career background, was okay, great. With this technology, how can we make sure that people get access to the data they need in order to make informed decisions? If we uplift this technology and make new things possible, we need to make sure we uplift the tools that people have as well. So I came on board to Blocksquare and I worked alongside the team, alongside yourself, Dennis, and the rest of the team on how we could make data on properties accessible and transparent to the world. This led into the development of the Tokelytics Reports, which for a long time took the form of a comprehensive 15-page PDF report, where it allowed the reader to gain insightful analytics on the property, broken down by category, and making sure that line of sight to the details and the data of the property was clear and visible. Over the years, sharing these reports, gaining feedback, it became apparent that alongside this data, which was crucial for the world to have in tokenized real estate, it was also important to ensure that we could aggregate data and make it accessible in one place as marketplaces after marketplace opens and the ecosystem expands. And that led to the formation of the Tokenlytics platform, which I'm here to talk to you about today. The Tokenlytics platform is the world's tokenized real estate hub. So it aggregates together all of the world's leading marketplaces for tokenized real estate into one easy-to-use platform. Now, the platform serves two powerful use cases. The first is for the asset operator or the asset owner. It enables them to enhance their property's tokenized footprint with a Tokenlytics report. So we collect over 100 different data points on a property and turn that into a comprehensive analytics, which enhance the transparency and the reach of the listing. So not only do these metrics become available to users on the Tokenlytics platform, but they also are able to download a full comprehensive PDF report to add to their marketplace listing, a JSON file which allows them to add the data to wherever they like, as well as being presented on the Tokenlytics platform, which for the user allows them to then easily navigate from the platform onto the marketplace with properties listed. So really powerful tools for the marketplace operator, for the asset operator, for the asset owner. And then we've got the second powerful use case, which is for the individual. So that's the individual who's interested in tokenized real estate, navigating marketplaces, and is looking for one aggregated, consolidated view of the tokenized real estate market. So if we go into what this means for the individual, we're really talking about access to the world's ecosystem of tokenized real estate, getting access to a lot of exciting features. So the Tokelytics platform currently aggregates over $140 million worth of tokenized real estate across 12 marketplaces in 28 countries. And there's lots of exciting features we can get into talking about.
Daniel, that's cool. Let's take people on the journey of the platform, and then while we do that, we tell them more about why is it important and what would it offer them. Because at the end of the day, the solution is defined by how much can it simplify and ease the understanding and the reach of people from all over the world to the product that is being sold. So um, let's run them through it. I'll put on our screen here the platform. If you can run us through the portal, I promise you guys, by the way, that within the coming, let's say, 10 minutes, if you stay with us, you will get the link to be able to log into the platform yourself. You will have it as a QR code on the screen in a very easy way. You just scan it and on you go. So stay with us. After Daniel runs us through the platform, you'll be able to get to know more about it as well as be able to access it. Daniel, the floor is yours.
Great, thanks, Makram. Yeah, so one thing that we had noticed when building the platform was that Blocksquare's ecosystem, alongside lots of other infrastructure providers around the world, have a growing number of marketplaces. We know ourselves very well within the Blocksquare and Ocean Point ecosystem that we have new marketplaces coming along so frequently, especially with the launch pad. And this is excellent. This is great. But one of the issues that we noticed was that for the community and for users worldwide to be able to get a holistic overview of what's happening across all these marketplaces. How can I make sure that I know when a new marketplace comes up? How can I get to that marketplace? How can I keep track of all the different properties that are coming on to all of the different marketplaces, all the different types? And that's one of the challenges that we aim to solve here with the Tokenized platform. So we aggregate all on-chain data from leading marketplaces, and then that number is growing all the time. So let's get into it. So we're going to take a look at the individual platform where individuals interested in tokenized real estate are able to come on, register, create an account, and access the global ecosystem. So we can start off here with the dashboard.
And here, sorry, let me clarify here. So when Daniel is mentioning that this is for the individual, because there's another platform for admins who would be for organizations, and Daniel will talk about it in a second. So the two sides of the platform are meant to service different parts
absolutely.
of the users.
So actually, that's a good to mention, Makram. Now, as I mentioned
Daniel,
before,
sorry. Daniel, can you repeat what you've said? Because I lost you there and we weren't hearing you well.
Can you hear me okay there, Makram?
I can hear you. Are you hearing me? Okay. So guys, let me run you through some of the details of the Tokenized platform until Daniel comes back with us. He's coming back. I'm seeing him moving again. So Daniel, when you are able to hear us again, just tell me that you're with us. You're hearing us.
Fine.
You can hear me fine. So perfect. Let me turn on again the platform, and then we take it forward from there.
Great. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Had a bit of technical interference. Great. So yeah, you made a really important point there, Makram, about the fact that there are really two platforms here serving two audiences. The first being the asset owner and the asset operator, where they're able to log into a separate portal and commission a Tokelytics report on their property that then becomes available for the world to see through the individual platform. as well as the PDF report and the JSON files, which can be downloaded, added to their marketplace, shared with their community and their token holders. So let's jump into the individual platform and take a look at what sort of features and what sort of analytics are going to be available for people interested in tokenized real estate. So the first really important feature, simple feature, but really important to talk about, is notifications. Now, a registered user of the platform who has notifications enabled will receive email live updates as soon as a new property is tokenized across any of the marketplaces that Tokenlytics covers. So you can always stay on top of what the market's doing and when new properties are coming on chain. The next feature that I'd like to talk about here on the dashboard is the ability to follow properties. So as properties come on and some are more interesting to you than others, you can add them to your follow properties, ensuring that you stay up to date with the market changes that you care about. The next great feature to talk about is the portfolio tracker. So here you're able to keep on top of your token holdings across multiple properties. You simply select the property that you hold in, add the amount of tokens, and then as market prices change, your portfolio can be updated to stay on top of its value. The next feature to talk about is the market insights. So what we've been able to do is aggregate news, blogs, and publications from multiple sources into one place. So those interested in keeping up to date on tokenized real estate news can track what's happening across multiple publications and blogs. Now, getting into the exciting part, deep dives into property analytics, which is what we're here to talk about. And that's the main challenge that we aim to solve with the Tokenlytics platform. It's allowing people to do deep dives on properties, make informed decisions, and have access to the data that's important. So here, we're currently tracking 150 properties across 12 marketplaces, valued at around $145 million. So if we go back to our following properties, let's take a look at one of those that we've got on there. So let's take a look at this property, which I believe has had a Tokelytics report done. So we can do a little bit of a deep dive on the property, understand the metrics, the different data available, and hopefully learn more about the property before navigating to the marketplace. So the first data that you're presented with is the on-chain data. So we're able to aggregate that on-chain data, give people access to the on-chain value, country, chain, token holders, transactions. Users can then easily navigate to Etherscan to view the contract of the property, easily navigate to the marketplace where that property can be found, and then of course choose to follow, unfollow, and various other features. Now, if a property owner is elected to have a Tokenlytics report done on their property, the amount of data available to users vastly increases. So we can start by looking at the property overview. So we can see here some really important details of the property that you'd want to learn about. A summary, the type of segmentation, value, marketplace, ownership type, and also being able to take a look at where it's located in the world. Next, tokenomics. So looking at the circulating supply, which we can see is 0 on this property at the moment, estimated APY, great metrics, operating expense ratios, everything you need to cover in terms of tokenomics. Next, we've got the national market conditions. So we're able to source data from the OECD, the IMF, and the World Bank to provide macroeconomic data for the country where that property is located. So we can see here that we can track inflation, interest rates, unemployment, and GDP for that country benchmarked against a global average, which really helps people understand the type of market that the property sits within. Next, asset valuation. So getting a deep dive on the value of the property, its changes in the past in terms of annualized return on investment, cap rate, gross rent multiplier, all the kind of metrics you'd want to see. Next is the performance. So we're able to actually cover a multitude of property types, from tenanted properties through to hotels, public accommodations, or even self-operated businesses. We can see here this is a tenanted property, so we're able to get a deep dive on its vacancy rate, its gross annual revenue, the yield, the maturity profile, and so on. Next, ownership and equity. Again, a deep dive into the type of metrics you would want to see. How many owners are there? How long have they owned the property for? Then we've got debt. Again, if there's debt attached to the property and you want to stay informed about what kind of metrics relate to that debt, this is going to give you all that information that you need. And then lastly, some details on the property, its age, condition, the type of expenses it has, what that is as a proportion of revenue, and so on. And then lastly, what I'd like to talk about is a feature that I'm very excited to be able to add in, and that's Proxy. So Proxy is your AI-powered, built in-house analytics assistant. So it's currently in the beta version, but it's going to allow you to it's going to come along the journey with you in your deep dive into properties. So let's open up Proxy. Now, Proxy is fed constantly with real live data from on-chain in the Tokenized platform, allowing you to ask questions like, hey Proxy, how many properties are there on the platform? And once it's had it been for a while, you should be able to grab the live data from on-chain and show us how many properties have been tokenized. There we go, 150 on the platform. Next, if we want to do a deep dive on the different infrastructure providers out there, technology providers, let's ask about Blocksquare and how they tokenize properties. Let's see what Proxy's got to say. So here we go, deep dive into Blocksquare, the property smart contracts, covering everything from the amount of tokens that can be issued, the chain it's on, AML compliance, IFPS, storage of documentation. So a great contributor to your knowledge base. And then lastly, what's really important with these metrics in allowing people to make informed decisions is understanding them. So those that may not be familiar with, let's say it's the debt to service coverage ratio. As you'll know, as a property guy, Makram, it's really important to understand these metrics in making decisions. But you need to be informed about what they mean. Proxy is there to help with that. So let's ask him, hey, what does the debt to service coverage ratio mean? And there we go. Comes back with a definition, examples, and a real life example of a property on the platform. So yeah, really excited to introduce Proxy. I think it's really going to help people in navigating the tokenized real estate landscape. And yeah, that's a brief overview of the platform. New properties getting added all the time, new marketplaces coming on all the time. And I think it's going to be something that's really going to help foster the ecosystem.
You know, guys, it's very important to understand why is such data presented in such way by Tokalytics this important. Um, I'm sure for whoever have been on our block chats before over the past few years, I'm sure you've heard me saying standardization, neutralization, and normalization of everything from methodology to data makes a big difference to anyone looking at real estate in general, at any other asset, but especially tokenized real estate. Let me explain to you what do I mean by that. I've explained before that if you ask somebody coming from Tokyo, um, what is a big two-bedroom to you, he would tell you it's 700 square foot. And if you ask someone coming from Lebanon, he would tell you it's 250 square meters or 2,600 square foot. And if you ask someone coming from Germany or from New York or from Dubai, each will have a different answer. So the ability of presenting data in a standardized manner, where methodology is standardized, units are standardized, where you find data is standardized. I find that I have probably a very severe case of ADHD in a certain way, and I look at sheets or things that present me with data, and I get nervous most of the time, because if I can't search for the thing that I'm used to find in a certain place in the same place and get the answer, it frustrates me. And I'm sure many people are that way, even if they don't have any medical situation that puts them in that position. Ability to get standardized data, ability to get this data for tokenized real estate is double as important as getting it for conventional real estate. Why? Because people from different parts of the world have access and ease of entry and acquisition of properties and property tokens in many other parts of the world that they may not understand, they may not be familiar with, they may not have visited or have easy access to, but they would like to understand. Similar to how people from the US can buy stocks in a company in India or in Japan or in Germany, and vice versa. And that's very important. That's the first element of it. The second element of it is the ability to source all of this data by an individual for an individual property, where he needs to invest $1,000 or $10,000 in, may be an investment in time and energy that makes it non-feasible if he, the individual, needs to source it and sort it and identify it and validate it himself. While with Tokalytics, it's a press of few buttons and you're there. And it's served to you in a standardized, the anomalies are in a way or another dealt with. There's data points that are clear that we look at. The parties behind it are parties who understand risk, understand asset values, understand potential, understand what do you need to be looking at in an asset. Now, that can be part of your research journey whenever you're trying to enter an access property. But it's very important also that stakeholders in the tokenized real estate world business, where service providers do provide such data in a standardized, normalized, neutralized way to their clientele and to their communities and to the consumer. And Tokalytics allows them to do so without them needing to sort, validate, and neutralize and standardize data. That's very important. I'm sure all of you have seen the QR code run on the screen, and no one needs me to run it again. Yeah, you've captured it. If not, you can go back to the mid of the session and see it. Otherwise, here it is. So, Daniel, what is, in your opinion, most exciting about Tokalytics? You've talked to many parties who are in the tokenized business, who showed interest in offering Tokalytics to their communities. Uh, why were they interested? What do you think that would add as value to everyone out there? Be it a business that is a tokenization business, and how can they get in touch with us, with you, to get access to Tokalytics, to be able to utilize the service, to be able to offer it to their community, to be able to sample it, and to be able for individuals to get access and benefit from the data and the information it provides?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a few great questions there, Makram. So firstly, and what I'm really excited about in launching the Tokenized platform is really to get the conversation going. You know, you're a big fan of property. It's an industry that's close to your heart, and you could talk for hours passionately about the different aspects of a property. And I strongly believe that those interested parties all around the world who come into tokenized real estate want to be having those same conversations. And by making data available, by making it clear, understandable, I'm really excited about the conversations that will come from that. Conversations in different communities, the critique, the comments, the notes, the back and forth debates that are going to come out of making data more accessible. So that's really what gets me excited about this. We've so far been able to perform Tokenized reports on about a dozen properties across the ecosystem. And the feedback that's come from asset operators has been great so far. It's allowed them, there's really a two-pronged benefit here. There's firstly that it democratizes the data and access for people who are interested in their property. It makes it readily available for people that are coming onto their marketplace or are interested in looking at their property. But secondly, and quite interestingly, and as a surprise, some of the feedback we've had is that it's actually provided asset operators with a different insight into their own property that they hadn't looked at prior. Now, any good asset operator is keeping up-to-date metrics on their portfolio, but again, how that data is presented, how it's accessed and presented to the user makes all the difference. So we've had some great feedback that it's actually provided the operator and the owner of the property with some insights that's been of benefit to them. So that's really what we've seen from the asset operator. Now, from the individual, again, no need to go into too much again, but it's really that data becomes available, conversations can open up, people can make informed decisions. And then in terms of getting in contact, so we're happy to announce that the platform will be live today when people are listening to this, so feel free to navigate over and check it out. If you're a marketplace operator, an asset operator, or an asset owner of a tokenized real estate property, and you're interested in having a report done, you can go straight onto the platform, create an account on the asset operator platform, which you'll see there easily labeled when you go to log in. If you'd prefer to reach out first for a chat, there's a contact form on there on the website. If you're familiar with anyone in the Blocksquare team, again, this is built in partnership alongside Blocksquare and Ocean Point, so feel free to reach out to anyone in the team. And if you're an individual, I think one important thing to mention here is that the data can be easily accessed and there's lots of features for the Tokenized platform, but the data is not limited to the Tokenized platform. Asset operators who have a report done are given the report. They take custody of that in terms of a JSON file and a PDF report that can be added to their marketplace. So if you prefer to go to the marketplace where that property is housed and read through the report there, the data will be accessible. If not, you want to check out the Tokelytics platform, again, QR code on the screen. Feel free to go over, create an account, take a look around.
So it's fair to say that if you are a marketplace operator and you don't have access to Tokenized and you're not offering that to your customers, you can today very easily. Please feel free to log into Tokenized. You have the QR code there on the screen, and get in touch with the team. And obviously, the team will take you through the process and get you sorted easily. If you would like to, as a user or as a marketplace operator or as someone who's interested in tokenization, want to sample and get a taste of what Tokelytics offer, feel free to go in, create an account, and run through. At the same time, if you are a property owner who have tokenized, regardless of which platform you put tokenize on, go in and you can check how properties are portrayed and how data is portrayed. You can ask for more details about your properties data. At the same time, you can communicate with us or communicate with your service provider, whoever is providing you the tokenization process and whoever is getting you your property tokenized, so that we can align and hopefully offer this amount of knowledge and value add to as many people as possible, and so that everyone looking at your property can really understand it, and hopefully that will add value if there is value in your property to be added. At the same time, if you are a regulator, if you are a financial services provider, If you are someone related to a jurisdiction, feel free to get in touch with us. We are happy to collaborate with you. What we care about and what we are very interested in is making tokenization as safe, as compliant, as understandable, as accessible, and as democratized as possible. And obviously, availability of standardized data is very important, a very important part of all of this. Daniel, thank you so much for your time today. Is there anything else you would like to add to
You
what
know,
we?
you said it best, Makram. That's it. We're here to foster the industry as a whole, push it forward, and that means making the tools and resources for it to grow. Transparent, accessible, standardized data.
Daniel, thank you so much. I lost you for a second at the end. It's a pleasure having you again. I will look forward to have you on future block chats. Next time, I promise you, we will sort Daniel's connection issue before the session. We had 3 sessions with Daniel, and the 3 of them had some connection issue. So it's clear to me now, Daniel, that it's your connection. But look, although it was 2 different countries, so it's not like it's a connection somewhere. But the software we use to stream those sessions are very heavy on connections. So that's why it's sometimes obvious that there will be some delay here or there. But I'm sure you got the essence of what we wanted to deliver to you, and that's what's most important. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you very much, Makram. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone, for being part of our energy today and joining us on this block chat. Until next time, have a pleasant day.